Hello again. I mentioned the other day that a local authority in Glasgow has now designated its primary schools as being family community education hubs so that they can use them to teach reading, writing, and arithmetic to foreigners. After all, their children can't speak English either, so it makes some sort of sense to have the whole family being taught at the same institution. The situation in Glasgow now is quite extraordinary and has crept up without anybody really noticing or much caring what's going on. After all, goes the reasoning by the government in Westminster, Scotland is a long way away and they'll leave it to Hollywood to sort stuff out there. What has been happening, you see, is that because London has become horribly crowded with foreigners and asylum seekers, the government have gradually been trying to get rid of them by sticking them on a coach heading north and dumping them in Glasgow. This is why it has now become known informally as the asylum seekers capital of Britain. The people there have long been unhappy about what is being done, but most people in England have been happy to be rid of so many penniless foreigners. The situation has now reached something of a crisis. Only 70% of people in Glasgow are white British, and a fifth of the population are foreigners. In other words, getting on for a third of the people in Glasgow are not of white British heritage. That is to say, most were born in another country, and the others are second generation immigrants. In schools, almost one pupil in three in Glasgow is not a native speaker of English. The burden this places upon teachers and the deleterious effect upon the children who are British is very marked. The education in primary schools is now being geared towards trying to ensure that pupils learn to speak English rather than focusing upon the teaching of reading and mathematics and so on. When a third of the children in the class cannot understand everything a teacher says, and some of them do not understand a single word, then it is inevitable that the teacher's time will be occupied with those children rather than the two-thirds who can speak English and have done so since birth. In this way, a policy devised by the government in London has inflicted tremendous harm on British children in a city sufficiently far from the capital that none of the ministers in Westminster feel that they have to concern themselves over much. Far better that this educational disaster should unfold hundreds of miles away rather than on their doorstep in London. Shockingly callous and cynical attitude. In the description to this video, I give a couple of links about what I've been speaking of.